This is so important. Please listen to me. People all the time make success so mystical. Oh, it's just this far away mountain that only a few fortunate, lucky souls really are able to grab. And that's a bunch of garbage. That's a lie from the pit of hell. All right? It's a total lie. And we talk about 3 indicators that will lead you to your sweet spot. The intersection of talent, passion, and mission is your sweet spot. And in that sweet spot are multiple jobs and career paths. But let's break down passion. The way I define passion is work that you love. You think about this work and you get excited. When you're in the middle of the work, you got the juice, as I like to say. It just feels good. You got some electric in you. And then when you're done with it, there's such a significant, peaceful feeling. No matter how tired you are or how rough the day is, you love the work. The actual task or the function or the role that you are filling, you love it. Let me tell you something, folks. That is the most important ingredient to success. I don't care what country, I don't care what race, I don't care about any qualifier at all. You show me a successful man or woman, and I'm going to tell you what kept them in the game long enough to be successful, and it is one word: love. They love the work itself. They loved the work. You stay in it long enough because of love. Here's what I mean. I tell you all the time, when you're figuring out that sweet spot in stage 1, get clear. Now we figure out, okay, this is what I'm good at. This is the work that I love. That's what we're talking about here. And this is the result of the work that ideally I want to have. So there are seasons of life where you've got 1 or 2. You're just doing the work that you're good at, but that's putting you on the ladder, if you will, to climb the ladder and then begin to have the opportunity to do the work you really love that will then allow you to produce a result that matters to you. So it's a process. So let's rewind back to the early days of Ken Coleman trying to make it in broadcasting. I'm 32, 33 years of age. I know absolutely what I want to do. I'm very clear. But I don't have a broadcasting degree. I'm not rich or famous. I don't have a daddy in broadcasting to get me a gig. I don't even know where to start, honestly. I'm completely overwhelmed. And the reason that I teach this idea of when you identify work that you think you might love, that's passion, you got to go test it and try it. Clarify and verify. So I would go talk to broadcasters. I'd have lunch, or I'd have some phone calls, and I would meet people. And then I would be able to know, well, you know what they described sounds like it would give me the juice. But then I had to start out really small. And I'll never forget the first live experience I ever had was doing play-by-play high school football on the internet. Now, folks, let me tell you how many people were listening to that first live broadcast. Wait for it. You ready for this? 2 people. The kid next to me in the broadcasting school I was a part of, and my wife, because she's a good woman. 2 people were listening. But can I tell you what I felt during that first play-by-play experience? I felt nothing but juice. Electricity, man. It was so fun. I got to the field 2 hours before the game. I'm out on the field talking to the coaches, and the coaches are looking at me like, who are you and why are you here? Should I call security? Well, I'm with Complete Game Broadcasting School. We're doing the game tonight. Oh, really? Does our AD know that? I mean, this is what I was dealing with. And I'm out there on the field like I'm Jim Nantz about ready to do the Super Bowl on CBS. Why? Because I loved it. I love the idea of broadcasting. When the mic is on, the light is on. Let me tell you something, folks. I love it. I love the live pressure, the performance. I love it. And it is the love of the work itself. Folks, listen to me. The love of the work, that's what keeps you going. So if you want to look at success, you better love the work to where you'll do it when nobody's watching and nobody's noticing. They don't see you. They're not saying atta boy or atta girl. You got to love the work. Now, while I'm on this issue, there's a phrase that has been said 8 billion times, and I don't know who came up with it. And I don't want to pop anybody's bubble, but we really need to kind of get rid of this phrase. And this is the phrase. Well, I'll tell you what, Joe, you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. That is horse crap. If you love, here's what it should say, Joe. If you love what you do, you'll work harder than anybody else. Joe, we've been together now a collective of how many years? I always have to be reminded. 7?
Yes.
That man in there has watched me do the hard work of broadcasting. And what I mean by that is where I'm on Saturday radio at 2 o'clock a.m. talk radio. There's only 4 people listening to that. So you're essentially, I might as well have been Joe in my closet. I'm grateful for the airwaves of WDUN, but that's where you got to start. And it is those lonely Saturdays, driving an hour to an hour back, doing all the work myself, figuring out what I was going to talk about that day, doing it and figuring out what do I do next week and where do I want to go with this? These lonely, hard days. Do you know what kept me going? It wasn't that I'm a harder worker than you. It's not that I've got more willpower than you. It's that I loved it. I loved the work of trying to come up with content that will inspire others. Coming up with content that will equip others to be better. Just getting on a microphone and talking into it. I love it. My father-in-law is a retired pastor, but also for years would build custom houses on the side while being a pastor. And I remember asking the first time, why are you building custom houses while being a pastor? Seems like those are two very different things. And they are. Do you know what he said to me? He goes, I love them both. I love them both. I love getting out there working with my hands. Let me tell you something. Construction work is hard work. Why do you think people do it? They love it. They love the idea of fixing something or creating something. So here's what I want you to get. Don't listen into this program and hear me talk about talent, passion, and mission and go, oh, that's Ken's methodology and that's nice and it makes sense at the sweet spot. No, you better hear me. All 3 of those must be in sync. You must have talent to actually be able to do something good enough to be employed for it. But you also must see a result of that work that you love that makes your heart swell. And so I remind you, the successful people that you look up to, the successful people that you do life with, they're not harder workers than you. They might be, but it's not because of their work ethic. It's not because of their willpower. It's not because they're stronger than you. It's not because they're better than you. It's because they love the work. It is the love of the work that keeps you showing up at 5 a.m. or working till midnight or not seeing profit, feeling as though you are almost delusional, but you keep showing up. What drives that? It's love. Jerry Seinfeld did an interview with Howard Stern. We're going to play this on the program. I found it this morning. We couldn't get it ready in time for the show, but it really inspired me to share the message. Of course, we talk about this every day, but this is what Seinfeld said to Howard Stern, because Howard was talking about all the years that he spent trying to figure out how to do radio, and he wasn't successful for a very long time, but he stayed with it, and he attributed it to willpower, and Seinfeld addressed this very issue. And he said, it is the love of the work that pulls in the success and all of the status and everything else. If you're doing something because you want to make money or be well known for it, you're not going to make it. He said, the success and the notoriety, he goes, those are the troops. He said, love is the general. It's the love of the work that gives all of the rest an opportunity to happen. And he said it so well. It's beautiful. So I want to remind you, this first stage we talk about, getting clear. Passion is the hardest one for you folks. That's the one we get the most calls on. Ken, I'm having a hard time figuring out my passion. Talent, a little easier to figure out. This is what I've always been good at. And people compliment me on this. This is easy for me. That's easier. But let me try to clarify this passion thing a little bit more. It's just the work itself that you really love. You've heard me talk about high emotion and high devotion. That's what we're talking about. So get about the business of really figuring out that vision that you think is stirring in your chest. Do you love the work without the success? Do you love the work without the notoriety? Do you love the work without the money? It's love. That's what you got to figure out.